The boating community is a wonderful community. It's a community of people who are explorers at heart, people with a sense of adventure. I've never quite seen anything like it. When you're in trouble out on the water, you can always rely on other cruisers to lend a hand. It's this realization that inspires us. It's the sense of community that makes us want to create a channel like this so that we can inspire a new generation of cruisers, as well as equipping those who are already out on the water having their adventures. But before we get into our ethos and what we're trying to accomplish on this channel, I have a bit of a story. Several years ago, I had this irresistible urge to break from the monotony of my life. I just knew there was a whole world out there to explore. So when I would think about my life and where I was at, just living and working in the same few miles of ever widening lanes of traffic and endless subdivisions and little bitty manicured lawns, it just left me with a growing desire for more. At my height, I tend to identify with hobbits and smurfs. And like any proper smurf or hobbit, I want an adventure out of life. And I'm talking about more than just 2 weeks of vacation a year, but a real adventure off the Shire. I mean, at least that's my aim, and that's what led me to the idea of boat life. It's just, I have one little problem. I can hardly build an IKEA desk, and the only captain I'd ever seen was Captain Ron. The good news is that I believe anyone can learn what's needed to be successful out on the water. It's just that there needs to be some solid sources of information. So I took to YouTube and spent years in the School of Sailing channels. And while these channels do their best to give how-tos, they are limited by virtue of their own time and access to working professionals and materials, and, well, the fact also that they're just trying to get on with their own cruising plans, which meant that I was often left with more questions than answers. That's when I decided to do a totally not at all obsessive thing. I quit my job and I moved to Florida. And so I ended up just driving around boat yards, trying to find a job. I just needed some people that I could learn from. I mean, heck, I even made flyers. I was dead set on finding some marine pros who could help me demystify all aspects of boat life. And I met them. And everything changed. Meet Andre, Brian, and Steven. They're the co-owners of a marine outfitter business for boats called the Yacht Rigger. And guess what? They're allowing little old me, Sailor Smurf, to follow around these marine pros and make content for this channel that we can all learn from. I mean, it literally gives me the chills. It's such an opportunity. But okay, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let me introduce them. First off, there's Stephen Lloyd. He leads the rigging team. He started as an 18-year-old in the boating industry. He trained in St. Martin for 5 years as he sought to become a world-class sailboat rigger. I mean, who does that? And this guy isn't just good. I've watched people in the yard here working for hours to solve a complex problem, and this guy walks by, takes a quick look, tells the person on the phone he's talking to hang on a second, and then he quickly mumbles the actual solution to the rigging team and then walks off, having hardly broken his stride. And everyone's just shaking their head dumbfounded that he came up with the solution that fast. It really is wild to witness him work. So from splicing to customizing and optimizing over to replacing factory rigging, there's really basically nothing he can't do. And then there's Brian Ford. He leads the fab team. He's a master craftsman of marine fabrication who can build and design anything. He's been doing it for over 25 years. He's like the metal whisperer, bending and twisting molten elements to his will. And I'm pretty sure that he could design and launch satellites if he wanted to. But luckily for us cruisers, he's put his brilliant mind into fabricating all manner of custom parts for yachts. Last to be mentioned, but he's the first guy people come looking for, we have Andre. This dude, in my very amateur opinion, is responsible for making a boat do all the cool electronic stuff it can do. I think of him as the Mr. Q to James Bond. Andre leads the electrical team at the Yacht Rigger. and is a master ABYC marine electrician. And like the other co-owner, he lives full-time on a catamaran raising his family. And I'm pretty sure that he's a wizard. He can harness the best bleeding-edge yachting electronics in the world so that a boat can sail into the future, totally equipped and spec'd out for any adventure. Oh, and also he's rated to fly 787 Dreamliners across oceans as a pilot. He's wildly committed and detail-oriented, from lithium batteries to chart plotters and radar and autopilot and remote boat operation and security monitoring. It's just inspiring to watch him work in his craft. Utilizing this all-star team, the On Deck channel will seek to help cruisers outfit their boat properly, to install gear and maintain and troubleshoot all aspects of your boat, all the way over to just, in general, upping our level of seamanship all around. For example, we're going to get to cover things like selecting a good water maker and its installation and maintenance, over to choosing the right anchor for your boat. And we'll look at simple things like when to tie what knot and how to tie it, and how to splice a line properly so that it can hold strenuous loads. We'll look at winch servicing and selecting right winches for your boat when it's time to upgrade, doing electric winches. We're also going to look at stuff that is hotly debated, like say ion dissipators to help reduce mast strikes, and if that is something that even works. Over to furler systems, to standing rigging, inspecting that standing rigging, and figuring out the totally exciting but frankly also totally confusing world of marine electronics. We're going to work hard to demystify this and basically like a million other things. Look, these guys at the Yacht Rigger are going to get really sick of me because I'm going to squeeze them for everything that they're worth. There's 75 years of combined experience there, and I want us all to be able to soak up that experience so we can be better equipped for our adventures out on the water. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.